Hello, U7, U8 coaches. How's everybody doing? Steve Fisher here. We've been talking this spring about coaching off the ball, and I thought a short video would be helpful. I apologize for the wooden pieces here on a poster, but it's a little simpler than probably filming actual kids, and hopefully it'll show what we need. The field is shown here with this green poster board. Here, a U8 field, 5v5. But I think we can also use it to talk about U7. We just remember that there's just one less defender on U7. Here the coaches are in red and blue, and we have 5 players in gold, with the 2 defenders marked just with a little black dot here to make them easier to see. And then the 5 black players on the other team with the 2 defenders marked with a little white dot, and then the ball here is in white using a little white coin. So hopefully this kind of sets up our field and will make it a little bit easier to kind of explain the things we're looking for. The key thing is to really spread the kids out to better equalize touches on the ball. It's really important because if we don't do that, some of the kids may really get very few touches on the ball and won't really learn how to play the game. And then other kids will tend to dominate the ball and get really more than their fair share of touches really from a teaching perspective. The kids also being spread out can more effectively learn how to pass the ball. So if we have all the players bunched up in one part of the field while they're playing, passing that ball around is going to be really very difficult. And we work on that in practice, but then we also want the kids to do that in the game. So when they're more spread out on the field, the ability for the kids to pass that ball around obviously becomes much, much better. So we'll put them back really into our kickoff formation again. We also want to allow the kids, by coaching off the ball, to be responsible for more of their own decision making rather than just taking a cue from the coaches that says for one player to pass to another. So coaching on the ball can really work against these things that we're talking about. What we want at U7 and U8, and again we're showing 5v5 here for U8, is really we want to talk about no coaching on the ball. 2, we want to talk about coaches working with the defenders and moving them up and back as the coach stays with those defenders, and not having the kids who are on defense behind the coach standing back near the goal, where they're really disengaged from the play and won't really learn as much about getting involved in the game. And then 3, we want to really keep the front line spread out when they're downfield attacking, rather than be all bunched together. So here are the key things really that we're looking for, and to provide a little bit more example for each. In terms of coaching off the ball, and let's just now pretend that the attack is going down into the black zone. The coaches move back with the kids, and most of the kids on black have really moved back to play defense, which is typically going to happen. The ball moves up, and the kids on offense are moving up, and then we'd like to coach to move the defenders up around the half line. Let's also remember too that we have this vertical red line. It's not really red here on the poster, but it's red on the field. That can be used to help the kids stay to the left and to the right for those kids who are in that position. The one in the center really is free to go where they'd like and have broader play on the field. So in terms of talking about coaching off the ball, there's really 2 things we could do here. And let's say this is Sarah, and let's say that's Julia. And right now, Sarah's got the ball, and we're hoping that there's going to be a pass. Sarah's blocked by a defender. Let's say Julia's got kind of an open opportunity. And so our natural tendency is to say, Sarah, pass to Julia, and hoping this will happen. The other way to coach this, though, is to get Julia to talk to Sarah and to try to pull the ball from Sarah to Julia, rather than try to push the ball from Sarah to Julia. And by pushing, I mean an active command on the ball that tries to push it over here, rather than a off-the-ball coaching of Julia to try to, in effect, pull the ball away from Sarah. So I think there's really a big difference. So what we hope that we as coaches can say is, Julia, you're open, call for the pass. So we coach Julia rather than Sarah, and then what we're looking for is Julia to say to Sarah, Sarah, I'm open, pass. And then hopefully Sarah can respond to that. Then the next thing to do, Julia now has the ball. We don't have to coach Julia, let her make a decision about what she wants to do. This defender may have moved over here. She may have a shot, she may not. But now Sarah might get open in another location, and Julia might pass it back to Sarah if Sarah's opportunity shows up. But we'd like to have Julia be able to make those decisions. Meanwhile, the defenders are moved up, and while the kids on offense are moving the ball around, we have time for the coach here to really talk to the defenders and give them some tips also off the ball about what they can be doing and thinking about if the ball comes back up this way, if one of the kids on the black team get possession of the ball and begin to move it back upfield. So here's an opportunity to coach the defender about what they should be looking to do as the ball comes up here. Things like if the ball is dribbled too far in front of that attacker, they can go right to the ball and look for a pass back up to one of their teammates on the forward line. If the defender's really fast, keeps the ball close, if the attacker's really fast and keeps the ball close, the defender can run back with the attacker and try to keep that attacker to the outside and not get to the inside where there's an easier shot on goal. The coach can at the same time move back and then ask this defender, again off the ball, to move back into a position to support this defender. So if the coach stays with the defenders, there's also time to really instruct them in the game. And try to keep in mind too that playing defense is a more complicated part of the game because we're playing the ball up and we have to react to playing the ball back. Forwards are typically reacting to playing up towards the goal. Yes, they play a defensive role, but this tends to be a bit more complicated, but also a bit more opportunity to begin to learn about the game. But what's important here is that when the play is down on this end of the field, we really don't want the coach standing here, because now the coach can't really see what the defenders are doing, and it becomes much harder to begin to move them as they need to move. And if the coach is basically watching what's happening here, getting the defenders to move up may frankly be a bit of a quick afterthought. So with the coach staying with the defenders and moving them up as necessary, and coming back with the defenders as may be necessary, it allows more effective coaching of the defenders. The forwards now also can use the red line as a guide to staying left and right. The key thing here, and we see this happen plenty of times, is the kids bunch up on one side, and even if the defenders are moved up, really our offense is all clustered in one part of the field. The most key thing to say is for the attacker on the left, when this situation occurs, is coach off the ball and ask that attacker to get back to the left side. So say the ball is here, and we've had our three attackers all clustered together. Coaching again off the ball to this attacker, hi, I need you back on the left side, is a very simple thing to do, which will spread the kids out. Keeping in mind this attacker right now is in the proper part of the field, and the attacker that's been assigned to the center can kind of go where he or she wants to support the attack. If the cluster happens over here, then the key thing is again to coach off the ball the attacker on the right simply to return to the right side of the field. And remember, we have the red line to help us do that. So really the three things, again, in summary to do is to coach off the ball. So again, remembering the situation between Sarah and Julia, try to get Julia to pull the ball from Sarah with the very simple thing, pass, I'm open. And it helps her get the sense that I need to get open. So having the defender here between them doesn't work. So she has to come back here, or she has to get there in order to get the open pass. Second thing is for the coach to work with the defenders and to spend a fair amount of time with them, because there is time to spend with them and talk to them off the ball if the ball is down on the attack towards the opponent's goal. And the third thing to do is really focus on keeping the front line spread out. But it's very easy to do that by simply focusing on the one player that typically will get out of their zone to get back into their zone. And that's basically it. And I think that's pretty easy. And if we do that, we're going to be really terrific at coaching off the ball at U7 and U8, and also helping the kids develop the sense of space in soccer and a little bit more of their own decision making. So if we can all work towards doing that, I think we're going to do a great service for the kids. And let's look forward to more great games on Saturday. Thanks very much.